My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Series 75, Seth Rollins. And so here we have Seth Rollins posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Seth Rollins does come with 3 pairs of hands. We do get a pair of fists, we get a pair of grip hands, and then we get a pair of style pose hands. Seth Rollins also does come with his entrance vest, which looks really nice, has the SR on the front, Rollins on the back, and then his logo. Overall, decent batch of accessories. I don't know what more you'd want. He does come with enough hands that I'm happy about that. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to his details. So here we have a closer look at Seth Rollins, and I will admit this is a really nice head sculpt for Seth Rollins. They did a really good job capturing the likeness to Seth. I really have a hard time finding an angle where this doesn't look like Seth Rollins, so they've actually done a fantastic job here. So really good job by Mattel on that part. So if we take a look at Seth Rollins' hair right here, you can notice that on mine, it is a little bit warped, and that's only because on mine, when I got this out of package, this piece of hair was actually stuck up underneath the head sculpt, which I really don't like that. I really would have wished that it was different, but unfortunately, it happened, and I'm just going to have to hit that with a hairdryer, and that'll fix it, but it's not a big issue. Still, really love this head sculpt. If you're a Seth Rollins fan, this is probably going to be your favorite head sculpt. I don't know which one I prefer, whether it's this one or the previous Real Effects that we got. I think that was another really good head sculpt. Hair is done really nicely. On the back, you can see Seth Rollins' tattoos right here, which they did a really good job capturing that. His torso, he does have the body hair all the way down to his happy trail, and they did use the proper Seth Rollins body. I know a lot of people call it the Finn Balor body. I call it the Seth Rollins body because it's the way Seth Rollins actually looks. Really do like the arms that they use, although I think he should have a little more defined arms in my honest opinion, but it looks good enough when you're looking at the figure from afar. Black wrist tape, unfortunately no emblems there. Then we do have a look at his attire, and I do believe this is the Chicago Bears attire, which I'm not a fan of the way it looks. I think it's kind of plain, but it is a really nice attire, don't get me wrong. You can see the belt right here, looks really nice. A little bit of paint slop right here, but from a distance you'll never know it. The white does seem to be a little bit thin in places, especially right here along the seam. You can see it a little bit fading right there. Same on this side. But that's to be expected when it's white paint over a dark plastic. Really do like this tempoed Seth Rollins emblem right there. You can see the blue knee pads with the orange straps, which again, it is thin in some places, and there's really not much you can do about that because we are putting a lighter color on a darker plastic. If they were smart about it, they would have made this out of the orange plastic and then painted it blue, but then that runs the risk of these not matching, so I guess I can live with it the way it is. We have a look at his kick pads, and they do have white fronts with orange bands going around them. On the back we do have some details right here. Again, we have the orange surrounding the white. Thin in some places, but as I said, it's to be expected when you have darker plastic and you're trying to paint it. So overall, I think they did a fantastic job with this ring gear for Seth Rollins. So really like the likeness, really like the detail that they put into it, even though it's not my favorite Seth Rollins attire. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at comparisons between him and other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Seth Rollins posed next to the Ultimate Edition's Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And finally, here we have the Elite 75 Seth Rollins posed next to the Best of Elite 2018, I believe, for Seth Rollins. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually run through his articulation really fast. Seth Rollins does have the standard Elite articulation. We do have a ball joint in the head, which he does look up really nicely. Unfortunately, he doesn't really look down all that far, and probably because of how his head is sitting on that ball joint. A lot of WWE figures have this problem where if they look up really well, they can't look down. If they look down really well, they can't look up. Hopefully they do fix that in the future. He does have really nice head tilt, so the pivot is really nice here. Does turn left and right, no problem. We do have ball joints in the shoulder, which do go out to the side. Do a full 360, no issues there. We do have a bicep swivel, which works fine. Single bend at the elbow, works pretty well. Swivel and hinge wrist, no problems there. We do have an ab crunch, which goes back about that far. Forward about that far. Waist swivel works, no problem. We do have legs that kick out to a full 45 degrees, or 90 degrees, excuse me. Really like that. Out to the side, a little better than 45 degrees. We have rotation up high in the thigh, double bend in the knee, not at all hindered by his knee pad, which I do appreciate that. Swivel in at the cut of the kick pad, unfortunately. It's not up here, it's down here, and that does break up the sculpt just a little bit. We do have a hinge that goes back and forward, and then we do have rocker ankle. So overall, really do like the way this Seth Rollins came out. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Elite 75 Seth Rollins pose for my final thoughts, and overall this is a really nice figure. I'm not a fan of this ring gear per se, but as far as the figure goes, it's actually really solid. Though the paint apps could be a little bit better, just having a little more paint in areas that are kind of see-through and transparent. I still think this is a really nice figure to own, especially if you're a fan of Seth Rollins and you're actually a fan of this ring gear. Me, personally, I could do with another ring gear, but if you're a fan of the Chicago Bears Seth Rollins, this is a really nice figure to own. The colors pop really nicely. The vest is a really nice form-fitting piece, so I do give Mattel props for that. Paint apps on the vest are actually pretty good. And overall, like I said, this is a really good Seth Rollins figure, especially with this new head sculpt that they're using. If you do want to pick up this Seth Rollins, Elite 75 is a little hard to come by at the time I'm making this video. You might find a couple figures still in stores, but it's getting kind of hard seeing as how they are starting to put Elite 77 and 78 on the shelves. If you can find this Seth Rollins, I really do recommend you pick him up if you're a fan of Seth Rollins, like this ring gear, or just want a really solid wrestling figure in your collection. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.